Hello everybody and welcome back. Today we're going to be previewing round 6 of the URC. Yeah, I know the Scotland squad's out. I will do a video on it probably tomorrow, just with time again. And yes, the hair. If you mention it, I will not be happy. But yes, it is pink. Anyway, let's go. So the first game of the weekend is Benetton versus Bulls. Benetton obviously just recently getting the season back up and running. They'd been struggling for the first couple of rounds, but did manage to, I believe, pull off a decent win last round. Yeah, they beat the Dragons and they beat the Sharks before that. So a couple of wins on the bounce for Benetton puts them in 8th in the table. And we're sitting really comfortable. Then a bit of a shock loss to Scarlets last week has maybe shunted their confidence or something a little bit. Probably not. It is the Bulls at Altitude FC, as some people call them. But yeah, this is in the Stadio Monigo in Treviso. So yeah, this could be an interesting game. I am actually going to go with Benetton because I think just at home Benetton are just really, really good. And you know, you saw a couple of weeks ago what they did to the Sharks. And I think something similar could happen there. So I'm going to go with Benetton for that game. Next up, we've got Scarlets at home to Zebra. Scarlets obviously picking up a big win against Bulls last week. Zebra just missing out to Lions in a very tight, very low-scoring game. Scarlets, though, at home, they've looked alright at home this season, I'm not going to lie. I do think they will take this. Zebra, again, have looked impressive at home, but just haven't quite managed to put it together away. So I am going to side with the Welsh side here. Scarlets sitting in 10th, Zebra in 15th. So, yeah, this actually could put Scarlets in a decent position to try and maybe push on for that top 8. I know it's still early doors, but, you know, if you get yourself into these positions and you can hold them. Next up, we head to South Africa as the Stormers, who have had a terrible start to the season, host Glasgow, who have had not a bad start to the season. Stormers are down in 12th. I believe they've only actually won one game this season. And that was oh no, they've won two. Never mind. They obviously beat Munster last week. I believe that's the first time Stormers have ever actually beaten Munster. But yeah, big win for them. Glasgow just about lost out to Sharks. A couple of late tries, secured 2 bonus points though, so they will actually still have some confidence in them, even though they lost. Yep, Stormers in 12th, Glasgow in 3rd. I do think this will go the way of the South Africans though. Again, I can see Glasgow maybe picking up another bonus point or 2, but I think the win might just escape them in South Africa. However, as we know, for the European teams, any form of bonus point you can pick up in South Africa is a huge, huge bonus. So, yeah. Next up, we stay in South Africa as the fixtures last week swap round as the Sharks host Munster. Sharks in 13th, they've had a pretty rough start to the season again. Although getting the Springboks back, the main team back last week, they did look a lot better against Glasgow. Munster have had a poor start to the season. They've shifted some big losses to teams like Zebra. They obviously lost to Stormers last week, as I just said. Yeah, I do think Munster will be pushing hard to get a big win, but so will Sharks. This could actually be one of those ones of a kind of season-defining game for both of these sides. Neither have started that well. You'd think a win here would help the confidence of them quite a lot. I just think the Sharks will do it in South Africa. They looked decent last week, and you know they managed to just about squash a not bad Glasgow side whatsoever. They do have all their internationals back, so yeah, I do think this will go the way of the Sharks. Next up, we go to Wales as the struggling Ospreys host Edinburgh. Ospreys have won one game this season. They are down in 16th. This isn't a great start for them, obviously, after getting top 8 last year. Edinburgh started a bit roughly, but they've picked up a couple of wins on the bounce. They are now actually up in 6th in the table, so yeah, you'd think a win for Edinburgh would definitely cement them in that top 8 spot, and you'd just see if they can hold. Although Edinburgh's away form isn't the best, and for some reason they just cannot go to Swansea and win. However, Ospreys have been pretty bad, so I am going to side with Edinburgh. I think this could be a weaker Edinburgh side, as Scotland are playing next week, so I wonder if they might rest some of the internationals. Although a lot of the bigger names were arrested last week, so I don't know if they might keep playing them. But yeah, I am going to side with Edinburgh for that one. Next up, we probably have the game of the weekend. It's the only two teams who are left undefeated in the Northern Hemisphere club rugby this season. Or not Northern Hemisphere, because it's South African, but I class the URC as a Northern thing. South Africans moan about it. Anyway, Leinster versus Lions, the only two teams who haven't lost in any European league. In Aviva. So yeah, a big game this one. And to be honest with you, I think Leinster are going to take it probably fairly easily, unfortunately, for the Lions. I think the Lions have been really, really good. However, you look at their away form, you look at what they did away to Zebra, and you think they actually struggle heavily away from home. And I just think Aviva's just the toughest place to go, and I think the Leinster will get a big win there. Next up, Connacht versus Dragons. 7th versus 14th. Both teams had a reasonable start to the season for what you'd expect of them. Connacht obviously losing out to Leinster last week. Dragons losing out to Benetton last week, so both off the back of a loss. And yeah, I think this will go the way of Connacht. Dragons, again, they've looked alright in Newport, but just away from home again, they've just been struggling. So I do think Connacht will take this game probably fairly comfortably, unfortunately for the Dragons. But yeah, and last but definitely not least, we get to Cardiff versus Ulster. Cardiff haven't had that bad of a start to the season. They looked good in their first few games, but have dropped off more recently. Obviously, they are off the back of a loss to Edinburgh. And then you've got Ulster, who are sat in 5th currently. I'm trying to think what Ulster did last week. I'd presume they won, but I can't remember against who. Yeah, they beat Ospreys last week. Okay, I remember now. So yeah, this is at the Cardiff Arms, a place where some teams can struggle to go to. However, Cardiff just, I was at the game in Edinburgh last week, and they actually I know they scored a try, but they didn't really fire a shot at Edinburgh. The only reason Edinburgh only scored 4 tries was their inability to finish. Edinburgh could have well put 50 on them and no one would have really said anything. So that kind of says where Cardiff were at last week, and I don't think much will change this week. So I am going to side with the Irish team, Ulster. Anyway, so that's my predictions for the week. I've gone with Benetton to beat Bulls, Scarlets to beat Zebra, Stormers to beat Glasgow, Sharks to beat Munster. I promise it's not all home wins. Edinburgh to beat Ospreys, Leinster to beat Lions, Connacht to beat Dragons, and Ulster to beat Cardiff. Let me know your thoughts and predictions. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed, make sure to like and subscribe, and I shall see you later.